It's just so Trish, and I'm very excited to be part of a really amazing collaboration with some amazing YouTube channels. So our collaboration is about just some really inexpensive meals that feed your family at a small budget. So I'm really excited about doing this. My meal that we use is chicken and yellow rice. Chicken and yellow rice is kind of a big mainstay for us. It's very convenient. I can make it in one pot and I can have it done in 30 minutes. And really, you can make this at any size you want to make it. For me, I'm feeding 7, almost 8. She's almost on full table food. But for 8 of us, it's a really easy, quick meal. And it really only requires 5 ingredients. So it's always a must for me. 5 ingredients, 1 pot, 30 minutes, we're done. And I know we've got dinner. And for the most part, I can keep it in the pantry. I can keep it between the freezer and the pantry. But it's something I can always have the recipes for. So the things you will need is chicken. One of my favorite ways to keep chicken low cost is when they clearance out the rotisserie chickens. I like to use that and shred it and make bone broth and freeze the chicken for later on. Or I will can chicken breast, and I can end up sometimes between $1 to $2 a pound, and I can have chicken breast ready to go, and I don't even have to do anything. The next part is vegetables is what I like to add, and I use typically a 1 pound bag of frozen mixed vegetables. I sometimes use dehydrated vegetables, and we'll use one of those too. I like to add vegetables in mine because it then, for me, makes it a complete meal. It's not just a grain and a meat, it's grain, meat, and vegetables. I feel like we've covered it all. You will need rice. Sometimes I use white rice, sometimes I use brown rice. It's really whatever I want and what I'm feeling like for the season. I tend to buy my rice in 20-pound bags. You can buy it up to 50 pounds, but for me, being the woman I am, 20 pounds is so much easier for me to handle, so I just buy it in 20 pounds. The thing that makes it yellow, so this is where it comes into, and a lot of people feel like you got to buy a kit to make yellow rice, is the Goya Sazon food. You want to make sure it's con, which is with safron, or however you would say it in Spanish, but it's sassafras. There are other flavors, and you will not get the yellow rice according. Okay, in order to do this, you will use a pack per cup of rice you're using, and it's these little packs. You can rip them apart, but 1 pack per cup. Now the last thing is optional. Of course you need water. The last thing is optional, and it's what I like to add into mine, is chicken base. You don't need to do this. You can get away with it with not using it. I like using it because it's essentially turning the water I would otherwise use into chicken broth. And it's, for the price of this, it's an inexpensive way. This whole container would make 5 gallons of chicken broth. So I like keeping this on hand. So the reality is, to make chicken and yellow rice is you just dump the rice, you dump the chicken, you dump the water, you dump the vegetables and your Sazon, and you boil it just like you're making a pot of rice. You bring it to a full boil, stirring while you do it, uncovered, and then you, once it's a full boil, put a cover on it, put it on low, and let it simmer until all the water absorbs up into the rice, and you're done. It is that easy. So, the big tricks, if you're not into and knowing how to boil rice and make rice, is for every 1 cup of rice, you add 2 cups of water. So for my family, feeding 7, almost 8, we go through 3 cups of rice. So I might add a pound or 2 of chicken, whatever is good for me. Add a pound or 2 of chicken. I will add 3 cups of rice, and because it's 2 cups of water for every cup of rice, I'll add 6 cups of water, 3 packets of this. Dump my frozen vegetables in, add a little salt, add a little pepper, get it boiling, and there you go. And it is a great meal. Now, of course, we like to add a little chopped onions to it. We add a little hot sauce, and it is yum. So I hope this helps and has an idea that you always have a meal in the pantry or between your freezer. And if you don't have cooked chicken on hand, you can always just take the water you would use, add the chicken diced up, put it in the pan, boil it with the lid on it until it's fully cooked. Let it come down so it's not going to burn you, and let it cool off a little bit. Shred the chicken. So if it's on the bone, get it off the bone, shred the chicken. If it's chicken breast boneless, shred it up, and then go ahead and add your rice and add all your ingredients then. So it's really a very convenient, budget, one pot dish loving meal. So I hope this helps. Stay tuned to the playlist of everybody's videos because I think this is a great way to keep your budget straight. So it's Just So Trish. Peace out.